doing workout videos since the 1980s.
Fitness instructor Kathy Smith has more than 35 videos and books to her credit.
She is America's fitness role model.
Now, fitness guru Kathy Smith has a plan to keep you fit.
If we went around the audience today and asked people, why don't you work out? The number one reason, I don't have enough time. Everybody says that.
Exercise pioneer Kathy Smith, an ageless beauty with age-defying fitness.
Kathy Smith, Empire St. Louis.
When I started running, I was told, your uterus is going to drop, your ovaries are going to drop, your tits are going to drop.
Kathy has decided to make the change.
Exercise is a secret state.
Workout videos for 800 kids. Take a look. The fitness star seen here. Her tapes include peak fat burning and a pregnancy workout. Mike, who is Smith? Kathy Smith, yes.
So welcome, Kathy Smith. Kathy, and we met kind of like a couple hours ago, and she was saying she was doing some body squatting. What is what is this? Body squats?
Body squats.
Okay.
You want to hear about body squats?
Yes.
Okay, so let me put this down. I'm a big believer, as much as we're going to talk about fitness today, I'm a big believer of getting movement throughout the day. So one of the things that I was telling Luba is that every single time I go to the bathroom. So now pretend you're in the bathroom, okay? And I'm in the stall next to you. And so when after I've gone, not before or not during, but after I've gone, you do 10 air squats. So you're like this, and you go up and down. So if I go to the bathroom after my presentation, I hear somebody next to me, I better hear some heavy breathing or something. Because you can definitely find ways, and I'm going to just show this throughout the entire presentation today. I'm going to show you ways how you can get exercise in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the living room, at your meetings. And that's just kind of an exciting new thing that's happening in fitness. It's one thing to get up in the morning and exercise, and I wanted to give a big shout out to everybody who got up yesterday and exercised. I had a few people in the bathroom saying, oh my gosh, I feel it in my legs. So that was nice that they got out of bed, but you don't necessarily have to be doing that. That's what I'm going to talk about that. But before I start with all of that, when I'm out at a dinner party or when I meet people, one of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, how did you get started in this business, and why did you get started in this business? So I thought I would take just a few minutes to tell you a little bit about my journey, because I think it's going to have some impact on some of the things we're going to talk about today. So I was raised in the military. My dad was an Air Force pilot, and we were stationed places around the world. We were in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Mobile, Alabama, San Diego, Hawaii. Traveled every 2 to 3 years. We were uprooted, went to the next place. As I mentioned earlier, when I was on stage, I went to high school in Belleville, Illinois. I graduated from high school. There. Thank God I graduated. But anyway, so 3 days, though, before my high school graduation, something happened that turned my life upside down. I got a call, and I was told to go to the hospital. And at the age of 17, I found out that my dad had a massive heart attack. He was 42 at the time, and he by the time I got to the hospital, he had passed away. So there I was. My whole world was turned upside down. I was really close to my father. I looked like him. His name was Carl. They called me Little Carly. And so losing my dad was just so traumatic. And I didn't think things could get much worse until 2 years later. My mom was my stepdad, and they were flying from St. Louis to La Crosse, Wisconsin. And they were in a plane that my dad owned, and it was my stepdad, and it was a plane with pontoons on it. And then you should take the pontoons off during the wintertime, and he had failed to do that. So when it hit a storm and the pontoons iced up, it got very unstable, and it went down in a farmer's field and crashed, and the plane went into flames. So there I was at the age of 20, just turned 20, And I lost my mom, I lost my dad, and I was completely devastated, as you can imagine. My life, it was just, I thought, what's the reason for even going on and living? And thank God for a faith and that kept me going. But the other thing that happened, which was really magical, and this is what happens in life sometimes, when something happens and you think you can't make it, sometimes a door, a window, something, a person opens up and reaches out and helps you. And at that point, I was dating my boyfriend, and he was a football player, and I was in college at the time. I would go to the track with him, not because I was athletic, not because I wanted to work out, but because I didn't want to go alone. I was sort of spiraling into a depression with anxiety. I did not know. I would cry every single day. I did not know where my life was going to go. And through the course of that, when just going so I didn't have to be alone, I started linking those miles together, or those laps together, and I noticed every single day when I hit a certain point that I would come home and the cloud would have lifted. That for a moment I had a glimmer, like, I'm going to be okay. This is going to work out. You know, life really, when you're thrown things in life, you have two choices. You can either go under and crumble, or you find a way to succeed. And that running really saved my life. It was, honestly, I'm not exaggerating, it is the reason why I'm on stage here today, because it lifted me out of this depression with all this anxiety. I was able to move on. So what I learned from that is what we know now. Science is proving this, but what I learned is that when you go out and move your body, and you don't have to run long distances, but when you start to move your body, chemicals are released in your body, and they start to impact, they start to bathe your brain with all kinds of endorphins, which make you feel good. And they also, now the science is just fascinating what happens on the cellular level just by moving your body. And even by changing positions from sitting down to standing up occasionally. So I learned that I was going to survive, and that, you know what, I just put my clicker down somewhere. Hold on. That's right. Maybe I never picked it up. So what I learned was that fitness and exercise became a passion for me, and then I wanted to share it with the world. It became my mission to help people, to guide people, to help them step into something that I knew was so good, not just for the body, and not just for the vanity reasons that we hear so much about, but for the health reasons, for the mental reasons, for the reasons that I want to get into today. And what I learned is that when you start with anything, and you want to stay consistent with it, you have to have a very powerful why. And so the why that kept me going was survival. I needed to feel good. I needed to take those runs so I could feel good in the morning. But when I start working with people, and I say, okay, why do you want to start a fitness program? And they say, well, I need to lose a little weight. I go, okay. That's really not a strong enough why, but I don't tell them that at that point. Then I start saying, why else? Well, my doctor told me my cholesterol levels are too high. Well, why else? Well, I was starting to feel some stiffness in my joints, and well, why else? And I start to go, and they say, well, my skin's feeling a little sallow, and I'm not feeling as vibrant. I don't have the energy in the day. I'm not having the kind of sex that I used to have. And I said, well, why else? And I keep them coming. And then they start talking about really mental states, children wanting to be able to play with their kids and their grandkids. And as I start to get them the list goes down to 30 or 40 or 50 things, that reasons why you should be moving your body. And then I say, okay, take a picture of this, post it on Instagram, put it somewhere, print it out, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your car, because each morning or each day when you start to think about, should I be moving my body, it's not just, well, I need to lose a few pounds. It's about every single organ in your body, from your heart to your lungs to your joints to your brain. Everything is impacted movement and circulation. And all of a sudden you take that why and you start thinking, okay, it's not about thinner thighs or tighter tummy. That's the small potato stuff. That's the side benefit. It's about all these other miraculous things that happen and how I want to show up to life. And when they do that and they start to get that why going, it becomes so much easier to do what they need to do. Okay, so when I talk to people about cardio, which we just did on running, I mentioned some of the benefits, and I just went through them. Cardio right now, Harvard, Stanford, you name it, University of Wisconsin, they are talking about cardio being a wonder drug. So if I told you I could give you a pill, and it would take care of all the ailments or all the things that I just mentioned, plus more, and there's a list up here that you can see, you go, oh, I want that pill. Well, the pill is those little tennis shoes you put on, and the good news is now that we're going to get into, you don't have to do that much. There's a new study, I do a weekly podcast where I interview people like Dr. Oz and, celebrities and doctors and researchers. And there's a new research out of McGill University that just 1 minute of HIIT training, which we're going to talk about, broken into 20-second bursts, gives you the same benefit as 45 minutes of exercise. Now that kind of thing of knowing these things and having them in your toolbox so that you can do things throughout the day. When I was in class yesterday, people were asking about different exercise modalities, different ways of exercising. And what's great is that, as we heard earlier from Pamela, yoga is wonderful for getting you in your body and relaxing and stretching, and cardio is great for increasing circulation and getting your heart stimulated so that it gets stronger. And strength training is working on those muscles that we start to lose after the age of 27. So when we talk about aging, we always think, okay, aging starts when? And when you're 25, it's like it's 40. When you're 40, it's 60. When you're 60, and this year I'm turning 68. And so one of the things that I love talking to women, I love talking to the men out there also, but I love talking to women about is that you have the ability to maintain muscle, to maintain your cardiovascular, to maintain your vitality. And again, I want to build on these two words that both Pamela and Kate talked about, which were energy and vitality. So there is a saying that if you want to win the day, it starts in the morning. Win the morning, you win the day. And that is so big in my household and has been this way my entire life. You set the tone for your day by that morning routine. So my biggest recommendation is to figure out how to set a morning routine that sets you up for success. Now, I have a few things on this list here, and it starts with some kind of shot. Now, I do a ginger and a lemon and a cayenne shot in the morning, and that gets my circulation going. But what I'm learning and what I love coming to these kind of events, and this is my fourth one now, is I learn something every single time. From you guys, you're my teacher, because I learn, what kind of shots are you guys using? And as I'm starting to experiment with the products that Young Living has, I'm blown away at how energizing, but at the same time, energizing but not overly stimulating. Because some of the energy products out there can get you wired, but that nice, calm energy that allows you to get focused, to get your thoughts together, that is what I love about some of the products. And I'm starting to incorporate that. And if anybody's got any suggestions, I can talk to you afterwards, because I love hearing about new recipes. Okay, the next thing is, with the next two come hand in hand. The wake up oils with the 5-minute reset. And that's something that I do every single morning. And I do want to build on an exercise we did earlier. So if everybody can just move to the edge of their chair, or just sit up, maybe put their books down, and no legs crossed. But it's a process that I do in the morning. It's called BLT, breathing, listening, listening technique. And it only takes a minute, 90 seconds. And the thing is, you don't have to use it in the morning. This is a technique that I use throughout the day. And it's been a huge game changer for me. So let's just do this. Let's just let go of all your breath. And we learned about breathing earlier, about diaphragmatic breathing using the belly. So just inhale. And exhale. And again, inhale. Now at the top of the inhale, hold your breath for a minute, for a second. And now exhale. And again, take a breath in. And as you get to the top of the inhale, and you're holding your breath for a second, listen for a sound. I hear talking outside. And exhale. A few more times. Inhale. Hold the breath. Find a sound you didn't hear before. And exhale. And just one more time. Inhale. Take it to the top. Hold it. Find your sound. And exhale. Now, what happens, if you want to open your eyes now you can, but what happens in a technique like that is that listening part of it brings you into the present moment. So much of our stress, and even morning stress, is like, oh my God, I have to do this today, I have to do that today, oh, I forgot to call that person. And you start to get wired and you start rolling along. So this moment right now gets you into the part of the brain that allows you to be more rational, not irrational, not emotional, but more rational. So BLT, breathing listening technique. Just take a few moments, even when you're standing in line at a grocery store or you're in the car, and just listen for the sound. Because if you can hear a bird singing, if you can hear a blinker, you're going to get very present, and you're going to start to take the world, to just bring the world right into your little area for that moment. The next part of this, which part of my 5-minute routine, is to savor the moment. And how do I do that? Well, there's a lot of studies that show if you can pick out one thing. I always go to my door and I look out and I can look at a tree the same way every single day, and I find something new about the tree. And I look at it and I just observe. Oh my gosh, I'm in Park City. The snow, the way the snow is lying on the limb. That simple thing of being very specific about what you're looking at, again, gets you in the moment. And the last part of this little 5-minute routine in the morning, what I call the 5-minute reset, is showing appreciation. However you do that, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through affirmations. And I find at least 5 to 10 people a day that I, send affirmations to, and for being so thankful that they're in my lives. And so when I leave here tomorrow, I will be sending it about Luba and about you guys. The fact that I get to share this day with you is just going to almost make me cry. And that's getting very present. That's not worrying about whether I'm nervous on stage or whatever's going through my mind, or if I'm going to make my plane later on. It's getting very present with each and every one of you. And one of the reasons that I built my business to where I've done $500 million in Kathy Smith sales is because when I have gone through